Assemblymember Pappen, are you ready? Oh, Assemblymember Irwin is here. Yeah, why don't we go there? Welcome. Yeah, I didn't see Jackie. Taking up file item 3, AB-762, vape pens, single-use prohibition. Assemblymember Irwin, welcome, and we'd love to hear about your bill, AB-762.
All right, thank you so much, Chair Connolly, and good afternoon, members. I'm pleased to present AB 762, which would ban the sale and distribution of disposable vapes in California. Unfortunately, these disposable devices are incredibly popular and have become an accessory for several age groups. You can see them in bars, restaurants, workplaces, and even in our children's backpacks. They often look like mundane objects like pens, but a new trend is emerging to include elaborate screens and buttons to play classic games like Pac-Man or Tetris. As distressing as it is to see these single-use devices in the hands of kids or thrown on the sidewalks, the scariest place to find one is in the place that the manufacturer designs them for, the trash can. With designs that prevent the refilling of vape liquid and the recharging of lithium-ion battery, these devices have an intended lifespan of about 1 week. The lithium batteries in vapes are highly flammable and cannot be removed, and they pose costly safety issues at every point of the waste stream. Marketed as disposable and absent a robust EPR program for these devices, they are thrown in the trash and sent to material recovery centers and landfills where they ignite, posing safety risks to workers. Local governments end up shouldering the cost of extinguishing and cleaning up dangerous battery fires, putting firefighters in harm's way. Although single-use vapes pose dangers to their surrounding environments when littered, AB 762 focuses on the immediate impacts to the waste stream and the dangers they pose to recycling facilities and those that operate them. And this is not a problem without a readily available solution, as there are already reusable options that are refillable and rechargeable. We don't throw away our iPhones after a week or our laptops after a week, and we should not treat any other lithium-ion devices differently. I'd also like to take a moment to note that this bill is similar to AB 1670 by former Assemblymember Luz Rivas. That bill was amended to from a ban on all vape devices to a ban on single-use devices, removing opposition from several groups, including the California Chamber. AB 762 has strong enforcement mechanisms to deter the sale of single-use devices before the consumers have the chance to purchase them in the store. While opposition points to illegal online sales as the source of this problem, I would point out that convenience sought by disposable vape consumers is not met by a Chinese manufacturer that takes 2 weeks to deliver the package, but by the corner convenience store. With me to testify in support of the bill are Nick Lapis from Californians Against Waste and Joy Mariana from Rethink Waste.
Welcome.
Good afternoon, Chair and committee members. Nick Lapis with environmental group Californians Against Waste. While there are a lot of reasons to be concerned about the growth in vapes, especially among teens, I'm really here to talk about the environmental impact of disposable vapes. Disposable vapes are an environmental disaster at every stage of their life. The critical minerals that go into making the batteries in these products are not only a finite resource, but extracting and processing them has huge environmental and social impacts. And because of the way they are designed, we have absolutely no way to recycle them. So these resources are lost for good no matter where the product ends up at end of life. In the US alone, we throw away 4.5 disposable vapes every single second, which would be enough to make batteries for 2,600 electric vehicles. But the environmental impacts don't stop at point of production. Each disposable vape is approximately equivalent to a pack of cigarettes, so you can imagine how quickly they add up for a pack-a-day smoker. Once a consumer is finished with a vape, there is no good place for that product to go. The best case scenario is that a person will go out of their way to collect all of their vapes and take them to a household hazardous waste drop-off location. In that scenario, they are collected and eventually incinerated out of state at both a great cost to the local governments that run those facilities and to the health of the communities that live by those incinerators. Realistically, they mostly go into one of our 3 waste bins or are littered. In any of these outcomes, they are both directly hazardous to the environment and pose a significant fire risk. In recycling facilities especially, the batteries in these vapes risk being punctured or going into what's known as thermal runaway, with the fires potentially spreading incredibly quickly among the fast-moving conveyor belts and dry paper that make up most of our recyclables. These fires pose an existential risk to the entire recycling system and a gigantic cost to ratepayers, as you'll hear more from our co-sponsor. And the kicker is that there are readily available alternatives. Went to 7-Eleven today. The same company who happens to be a lead opponent of the bill sells a disposable and refillable option. So there are these alternatives. They're readily available. And that is why several countries, including the UK, New Zealand, France, Belgium, and others, have banned the disposable version of these vapes. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and fellow committee members. My name is Joe Lamariana. I am the Executive Director of Rethink Waste. Rethink Waste is a public joint powers authority, a public agency that's based in San Mateo County. We are a coalition of 11 government entities in the county. We own and operate the Shoreway Environmental Center that's located in San Carlos. We handle about 420,000 tons of unknown materials a year, and these items are in there, and our workers and our facilities are at risk every single day that they're there. We also collect material from 420,000 residents and about 11,000 businesses. Rethink Waste is a proud co-sponsor of AB-762 because we've seen firsthand how fires impact material recovery facilities, what you would probably call recycling centers. We call them material recovery facilities. Embedded batteries in particular cause fires that are really hard to put out. You can't just splash water on them. You've got to cut them out away from all the other fuel and let them burn out. That's the runaway thermal event that Nick was just talking about a moment ago. These battery fires are frequent and they harm facility workers and damage our equipment and the ratepayer-owned facilities. The repairs are expensive and they can definitely increase rates to our ratepayers. In 2016, our facility experienced a 4-alarm fire from a lithium-ion battery at the Shoreway Environmental Center. We were closed for over 4 months. During that period, about 60 workers were furloughed. We experienced $8.5 million in equipment replacement costs. The material that normally would have been processed on site had to go to an alternative facility, and some of it went to the landfill, and it had a dramatic increase on our insurance. It increased about 200x. So it is with that compelling background and perspective, we strongly urge and I vote for AB 762 to protect the safety of the workers and the ratepayers' facilities. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any remaining members of the public who wish to indicate their support for the measure? Come on up.
Good afternoon. My name is Andrea Ventura. I'm with Clean Water Action in support.
Nancy Buremeyer, Breast Cancer Prevention Partners, in support.
Melissa Sparks-Kranz with the League of California Cities in support.
Jordan Wells on behalf of the California State Association of Counties in support.
Hello, Keely Morris with Edelstein, Gilbert, Robeson, and Smith on behalf of the Los Angeles County Sanitation Districts in support.
Good afternoon, Michael Caprio with Republic Services here in support.
John Kennedy on behalf of the rural counties in support.
Jeff Neal representing both Yolo County and Waste Management, both in support.
Mandy Strella on behalf of the Friends Committee on Legislation of California, FACTS, the Families Advocating for Chemical and Toxic Safety, the Alliance of Nurses for a Healthy Environment, Plastic Free Future, the Sierra Club, the Surfrider Foundation, CalPERG, Heal the Bay, and 5 Gyres in support.
Good afternoon, April Robinson with the Voice for Choice Advocacy and Support.
Thank you, members. Jason Schmelzer here on behalf of the California Product Stewardship Council, SWANA, and Stop Waste in support.
Thank you. Do we have anyone in opposition to AB 762?
Can you hear me? Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and members. Amy Jenkins here on behalf of the California Cannabis Operators Association in respectful opposition. We represent hundreds of licensed operators across the supply chain from farmers, manufacturers, distributors, and retailers. We share the author's commitment to environmental safety and consumer protection, and yet banning integrated cannabis vaporizer devices will not achieve those goals. It will only deepen an already growing problem, the illicit market. Patients depend on integrated cannabis vaporizers that are safe, accessible, and long-lasting. These devices are especially important for medical patients managing chronic pain or mobility impairments, people for whom connecting rechargeable cartridges may be difficult or impossible. I also want to note that the characteristic of single-use or non-reusable is misleading. A half a gram device delivers 150 doses and a full gram delivers more than 300. These are used over weeks and months and not discarded after one session. Under California's strict product safety laws, they are also not refillable, and this is to adhere to our rigorous testing protocols and protect against contamination. California's legal industry is among the most regulated in the world. In contrast, the illicit market faces none of these requirements, and this bill will only push consumers back to illegal products. The public health risks are real. The Centers for Disease Control linked the 2019 EVALI outbreak to illicit market vapes, not legal vapes, and removing compliant tested products from legal shelves will not protect consumers. I would also note that this bill we believe is premature. There was another Rivas bill, AB 1894, that took effect on July 1st of last year that requires legal cannabis operators to provide proper disposal education and treat these products as hazardous waste. So if we adhere to this ban as proposed in the bill, you are eliminating the only consumer education and awareness program that we offer. And again, we will still have a thriving illicit market for these products. So for all these reasons, we are in respectful opposition to this bill and urge your no vote today. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair and members. My name is Alessandra Magnasco, and I'm here on behalf of the California Fuels and Convenience Alliance, which represents a majority of California's 12,000 gas stations and convenience stores. We must respectfully oppose AB 762. We absolutely understand and respect the intent behind this bill to reduce environmental harm, but the practical effect will be to push consumers towards unregulated illicit markets, creating greater risks to public health and safety. We've seen this play out before. When flavored tobacco products were banned in California, demand didn't disappear. It just moved to the illicit market. The same will happen here. Disposable vapor devices with embedded batteries are still in high demand. If licensed retailers can't sell them, consumers will turn to online sources, street vendors, and other unregulated channels. And that's dangerous. Products sold in the illicit market aren't subject to California's strict safety standards, age verification, or quality controls. That puts young people and everyday consumers at real risk, from harmful ingredients to faulty batteries. At the same time, the state loses out on millions in tax revenue from legal sales, funds that support public health programs as a priority, while spending more on enforcement to try and chase down bad actors. We urge you not to repeat the mistakes of the past. AB 762 will hurt compliant, responsible retailers and empower illegal sellers. Let's work together on smarter solutions that address environmental goals without compromising consumer safety or state and local revenue. Thank you, and I respectfully urge your no vote.
Do we have any remaining members of the public who wish to indicate their opposition to this measure?
Good afternoon, Chair and committee members. Anthony Butler-Torres on behalf of the California Hispanic Chambers of Commerce in opposition. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Sarah Arsenault on behalf of the California Cannabis Industry Association in respectful opposition.
Horacio Gonzalez on behalf of California's Business Roundtable, opposed.
Keelan Fong representing the Cal Asian Chamber in opposition. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's bring it back to the committee. Questions from members, comments? Assemblymember Pappen, then McKenna.
One quick question. So on the reusable one, no battery included, what happens? Does it have a battery included? Is it recycled differently? How does the reusable one work? Because you say, oh, there's good news, there's reusable, and that may temper your arguments just a little bit. What happens to that one and the garbage? Because, you know, I come from San Mateo. I remember the fire.
So this has a rechargeable battery and then pods that you replace. And so the third prop that I didn't bring out, just for sake of not having too many props, these are the replaceable pods that you buy. Each one is the equivalent of about a pack of cigarettes. And so you charge the device and put in a new pod. Because they're separable, first of all, you don't throw this away as often, so there's a lot fewer of them in the trash. But if you do throw it away, you actually can recycle it, because this would be, you know, going to the incinerator, but the part with the battery can go to an e-waste recycler and actually be recovered.
One more question, if you know. So how long does that rechargeable thing last?
I'm not aware of it having like
how many
finite.
uses?
It's rechargeable, so it's, I mean, I'm not aware of any finite
Okay,
limit.
I was just curious, thanks.
And for me, hello to the author, and thank you, Mr. Chair. What I'm thinking about is the cannabis piece of this. I have a lot of cannabis stores in my district, which I spoke with the author about. And I am very worried about this going into the illicit market. As we push out cannabis and we're making something illegal, then folks are definitely gonna go into the illicit market to purchase it, which again, it does make it more dangerous for my community. It makes it more dangerous. And then we're turning cannabis into something that's illegal, and I never want to see that happen. And so with that, I'll be staying off the bill today. Thank you.
But I certainly appreciate where you're coming from. I do want to say we've heard where we really agree is that we need enforcement to make sure that the legal market can thrive. And there has just, the state has put $28 million toward enforcement. And we were also asked to put a very strong enforcement mechanism in this bill. And so between the resources that the state has provided and the strong enforcement mechanism that we have in the bill, we're really hoping to drive out the illegal market. And cost-wise, I know you're always very concerned about cost, but we've seen single-use vapes go from $6 to $20 and have actually found rechargeable vapes that are as low as $5.99. I think that one was $10, and those are can be used many times. So certainly, cost is not a. I think once you use for more than a few weeks, you are much better off with the reusable vapes.
And that's the tobacco, correct?
That I don't know.
What about the cannabis prices?
That's a good question. I don't believe there's a very significant differential, but I will get back to you on that. It does represent a fairly substantial part of the market, and we do offer rechargeable products. They aren't as long lasting. I don't have precise data on how long the actual rechargeable battery lasts, but it's not. I wouldn't say it's a year. I mean, they definitely go out. I can tell you from experience, but the other thing I'll say about the single use is they're really not single use. They do last a significantly long time. Now, certainly if you are a patient and you are excessively using, that might be shorter, but some have reported, these products last months and months, and they are much smaller and they are more discreet. But I will get you data on the price differential. I don't believe it's substantial.
Thank you.
Other members, questions or comments? Seeing none, I would invite the author to close.
Just respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you. Appreciate you bringing this forward. In my view, it's important to continue to reduce the source of hazardous waste before it enters the waste stream. And this bill does that by prohibiting single-use vape devices. So I'm going to be recommending an aye vote today and would see if we have a motion and second. Assemblymember Hart move. And Pappen seconds. Please call the roll.
This is file item 3, AB 762, authored by Assemblymember Irwin. The motion is due pass to the Committee on Business and Professions. Connolly?
Aye.
Connolly, aye. Hadwick? Not voting. Hadwick, not voting. Castillo? No. Castillo, no. Hart? Aye. Hart, aye. Lee? McKinner? Not voting. McKinner, not voting. Pappen? Aye. Pappen, aye.
So that matter has 3 votes. We're going to put it on hold, on call, and look for absent members. Thank you.
Members.